Welcome back to Doobrey's Day. Today on Doobrey's Day, it's a gin experience. Create our own gins. Let's get to it. Mrs. Doobs really likes her gin. She had a hard week at work last week, and while she was out and about, she walked into the Adnams Shop here in Norwich and was chatting to the ladies, and she found out that she could do a gin experience day where you make your own gin. So she booked us up, said to me, over the Easter weekend we're going to go and make gin, and off we go. So we're going to make gin today. When you arrive at the Adnams Shop in Norwich, you're greeted by the staff, and they take you into the side room, which has got glass all around it, so everybody can see what you're doing. As you'd expect with one of these gin experiences, the first thing they do once you're in this glass room is hand you a double gin with some tonic, and it had odd gin that actually had a slice of orange in it, and cheers you to get started on the day. And for the first half an hour of the experience, they talk you through what makes up gin with the juniper berries, and how gin has been called things like mother's rune and those kind of things. During the day, we started to understand the ingredients that make up gin, the prime one being juniper berries.
Do it.
And then we had all of the ingredients in front of us, and we had to write down all of the various bits and pieces, the various components that we're going to put into our gin.
I am making my gin recipe. I've had double gin and tonic, and then I got
Gin and tonic?
Gin and tonic, and then I got to try some vodkas and gins.
Ready to distill.
This is cassia bark. Smells like cinnamon.
So I don't know if you can see this, but you get a little card, and on that card it details the various ingredients. So there is floral ingredients, aniseed, fruity, herbal and spicy. And these various ingredients, depending on how many grams you're putting in, and you had to measure them all out, gave you a different flavour to your gin. Once you've put the ingredients together into the still, and you'll see that on the video in a second, you then add, I guess it was about half a litre of vodka, which was your sort of non-flavoured generic spirits. So I didn't know that gin primarily was made up of vodka. It's something I learned today, being a non-drinker, Mrs. Doobs being a primary drinker. We then add the vodka into the still with your concoction, your ingredients, and then you start the still up, and you'll see that on the video as well.
Right,
How are you getting there? Nearly there? Done your herbs? You put your vodka in yet?
And I want you to put your vodka in here.
Apparently it's traditional that once you opened it, you've got to take a swig before it goes in.
You do a lot of making here because it's really good fun.
Yeah.
But it's actually illegal to do this at home.
Yes.
Unless you have a license. But actually it's really hard to get a license because, well, when you think about having all this at home, so you have to buy these, which are quite expensive. You have to get all this fitted in. You have to have a reverse osmosis water filter. You obviously have to have the vodka, and we suggest using good vodka.
What sort of vodka? Would that be Adnams vodka?
It would be Adnams Longshore vodka. And then obviously you have to have your botanicals. So every time you want to make a gin, you know, it's costing you a lot. Lovely. So let me just pop this down.
I didn't ask that. Interesting question.
So it'd be wrong to say, this is how we make the moonshine.
I love that programme.
Once the still is on, you have a heating plate underneath the still, and that heats up the concoction of your vodka and your ingredients.
Liquid is going to start evaporating. And when it gets to here, you're going to start mixing all those kind of gases and then the flavours. So what will happen is it will come down the line arm or the swan's neck. It will go into the worm or the coil, and it will wish round here, and because this is cold, it will then condense into a liquid again, and it will start trickling out.
What temperature does it go up to?
It goes, well, It goes up to 100.
Sorry, they have a 15-year-old.
But what we don't want it to go up to 100 for us, because if it goes up to 100 from us, then the water's going to be coming out. So we want to keep it at sort of about 80.
About 80.
Better than a couple of weeks.
Right, I'll hide it under lock and key, Mother. Your vodka's got to go in now, Mum. That's it? Yeah.
What we also learned was the main three components, and by the way I'm no expert here, main three components that make up the distillation process.
So, the very first part, there's 3 stages to this. There's the heads, the hearts and the tails. So, like you were saying, with the heads, that is the first bit of liquid that comes out. Now, when John McCarthy's doing this for Adnams, it's really important he gets this right because it's very, very dangerous. Today, it's not dangerous because we are redistilling our vodka. So our vodka that we have used has all the good ethanol in it. So we do cut the heads because it looks good, but also it's good to have a little taste. It's like rocket fuel, so it's kind of about an 86% liquid. That's wonderful.
Ooh, I can smell it.
Right.
Oh, you won't be able to.
There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That was proper rocket fuel. Joe, you got your rocket fuel to come?
Yeah, so this is the...
Oh, it's starting to come out.
So this one's Joe's. There you go. You don't have to drink it if you don't want to. You
Better
just
video
have
it.
pop a little bit on your lips and you'll still get the desired effect.
Yeah, neck it.
That's not bad, is it? There you go. But it's good because
Not watch her face.
we want everyone to be having fun.
Oh, that's nice.
Did you get anything like that in Cyprus?
So once we'd distilled our gin and we tried everybody's gin, we were invited to name our gins. Mine was called Cock Insider, and Mrs. Doobs was called, I think it was Easter Surprise or something. I'll check on the video in a moment. Mrs. Doobs was called Easter Fling, because it's Easter. We then labelled up our bottles, and then we put our 400 millilitres of gin inside of our own bottle.
Well, of course. Do you have to ask?
And then we topped it up with reverse osmosis water, so that's removed all the impurities out of the water, and that made up our gin.
Is everyone, so we've got a little bit off. How are we doing for temperature? Good. Right.
I'm going to swap
Coming up.
mine, is that okay?
Yeah, look, lovely, wonderful. So I'm actually going to swap it again until actually going to
Mum, I think you could do with swapping yours actually, looking at. Are you on 400? Are you on 400?
Nearly, a little bit longer.
Oh, no,
I'll go
I'm
this
not quite
way,
there
and you
yet.
can
There
see.
you go.
No, I can see, it's alright. Someone's got his eye on it.
Oh good, he's got a good eye, the boy.
What have you called yours?
Cock and cider, of course.
Come on, what have you called it?
Cock and cider.
Oh,
Oh, nice!
Yeah! That's the name of our little pub we're having when we get home.
Oh.
so much.
Hi there, so we've just finished the gin, make your own gin, what's it called?
It's the Make Your Own Gin experience at the Adnams
Adnams
Shop
Shop. There you
in
go.
Norwich.
Up there. It's been great fun. We met a lovely couple.
Joe and
Sandra.
Sandra.
Joe and Sandra was she got a bit tipsy, to be honest
She
with
was
you.
hilarious. She's my kindred spirit. I loved her.
But we've made a gin. You'll see some of the videos we made a gin. We learned about gin.
We learn about why gin has become popular and why it was popular to start with, and the legalities of distilling.
And we didn't know. I didn't know it was made out of vodka as a key neutral spirit, but
I
we
did.
found out it's made out of
Yeah.
vodka.
Yeah, but we got to sample 3 of their vodkas and then the gins that they make using those vodkas as the basis, and then all the different herbs and spices, and then we got to distill it, and it was really exciting. It was like being in a science lab and you were waiting for the first dribbles or tickle
Or heads.
Yeah, of it to come through, and then you got to sample the heads, and then you got to sample the tails as well. So it tastes different, and there were 4 people in the session, and each of us chose variations,
Different combinations of
and they were all so
of-
different, weren't they? They were amazing. So yeah,
really good fun though.
Wonderful morning. You start drinking at 10:30 on a Sunday morning, which is fine, but it's doubles.
But if you want something to do on a Easter weekend or even during the week, then come down to the Adnams Shop in Norwich and do one of these experiences. Good
Brilliant fun. I really enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, guys. See you next time on Doobrey's Day. Bye.